Why do we expect people to change if we never show them how to change? This is Changeability. It's real change for real people, and we keep it real simple. Today's guest is a real estate agent, a social selling specialist, and he lives in Brisbane. Welcome, Damian Piotto.
Hey, how are you, Julian? It's very exciting to be here today to just talk about life and the journey that we're on.
All right, terrific. Well, let's jump straight in. Give us a thumbnail sketch of who Damian Piotto is.
Yeah, look, for me, I love the journey that people go through in property is that everyone needs somewhere to live. And I think about long term about how many times that we actually need a real estate agent over a stretch of time. And mapping that out is something that's quite important to me and seeing the journey we go on from our first home to needing to get a bigger home to have family and children. And as life changes, you always need trusted advisors in your life. And I really love to fill that void for people in real estate because it's not about changing the world. It's about changing the world for the people that you're trying to support.
All right, so it's all about people. So the big question I want to know from you is, have you ever done something that you never thought you could do?
Yeah, well, being in real estate now, I'm 7 years in, and I didn't think I'd be in a space probably where public speaking and talking to people and presenting would become an everyday thing. And it was just a journey of self-discovery, really, and just understanding where your values have aligned and what you're doing. And one of the things about having, I think, when it comes to self-doubt and the unknown, is that we all start something new at some time, and just beginning that journey is probably more critical than anything.
Where do you fit in the grand scheme of things in the real estate world, with the people in the real estate world, with ages and, because you're not, how old are you?
Yeah, so I'm embarking a new decade next year. So I'll be 40 next year, and I've gone through a transition in the last decade, and I've got it in my mind at the moment about I've had this exponential change in the last 10 years because I've gone through being a young man, not on stable footing in this world, and understanding my values and who I am, becoming a person that understands the changes in life dynamics. And I think that personal touch and understanding is that emotions change. People are needing outcomes from you as well. So there's a burden of performance, and putting that all together in your professional and personal life is something I love to expand and learn from.
Yeah, but so what I was going to get at there is that you're 40, which is, it's not young, it's not old, but the way you're talking, you seem to have a greater grasp on self-awareness than most. And I'm
Mhm.
not just saying real estate agents, but there's a lot of
Thanks.
guys I speak to who are 40 who aren't thinking about this journey like you are. So where did that come from?
Yeah, so I guess my moment, my line in the sand was I didn't have a roadmap or direction in life, and there's a lot of anxiety around who I was and what I was becoming because I had a lot of responsibilities in my world, and I just had to start nailing down like what was important to myself and what were the actions I needed to take. And Julian, I've made more mistakes than what most people have probably wanted to admit to, but what I'm proud of is that you just got to get back up and learn, and you just got to put yourself. And I use this analogy is that you got to put your feet to the fire and learn from what you do. Your successes aren't just the only things you celebrate. I probably celebrate the things that I haven't done well in a way as I still have the ability to do better next time. And I'm incredibly hard on myself. And I think where I get that from is that I'm never satisfied with an outcome. And that's good in real estate. It's good in this profession. Definitely impacts your personal life though.
Do you consider yourself average? Uh, Average is the wrong word. Normal is it's not the right word, but compared to your circle of friends or maybe your professional circle, where do you sit? Because you're speaking at a level of awareness. Again, I just want to drill down. Do you think that you What are the people around you? What are they thinking and feeling? Do you speak to them like you're speaking to me now? And do they roll their eyes or do they engage in a similar sort of conversation?
Yeah, I think the tribe that I've found is quite a robust group of people. We're very honest with each other, and I'm not for everybody. And what you're bringing to light is quite important. Is that in a room when you're dealing with people you don't know very well, there's general read the room moment where you've got to sort of pick your moments about what topics to talk about and the type of language you use. People are very much surface level with things about how's the weather, what are you doing. I much love to get to the point of people's not just motivations, but what inspires them. Uh, what are the obvious values that they live and breathe and what they see. And I think sometimes I just love complimenting people on their ability to be themselves. And I'm very honest in that way, and people really appreciate it.
And what about again the people around you? I mean, do you look at other people? And I'm not, no specifics, of course, but do you look at
Mm.
other people within your industry and going, there's an easier way to do things that you haven't keyed into yet?
Yeah, I think so. I think the social selling element is something that I have always been mindful of. Is that this is a people business, and I've when we talk about how to be in influential groups and learn to be better, I'm still progressing to be into those rooms so I can learn and be more. And I think the if you keep for me is that I probably did look for the easy answer very early on in the silver bullet, and what I've learned now is that consistency and that understanding is that it's not so simple to get the outcomes you want. You've got to work hard at things. Has been a tough realization over the years.
So, do you value learning?
For me, it's a lifelong journey. So if people ask me about, what are my hobbies and what do I do? I think learning is at the forefront of everything. Is that, you know, there's a quote that I have written in my phone about the next generation with my children about I want to be able to have them to have the ability to change and to learn to do things because they're able to, because they've been led by example with the community around them and the tribe and great relationships that they have with people, and that's something that I wish from a younger age that I could have tapped into.
Do you get frustrated with other people around you who don't want to learn?
Yeah, I think it's a an obvious trait for me is that you think it's obvious that the learning ability and the want to do better and to do more and not stay where you are. To me, it's something I thought is normal. What I find is always a lot of pushback, especially in an industry where it's performance based on outcome when it comes to commission and GCI, not are you a better person this financial year? And if you make more money, then technically you are. Whereas I see things a little bit differently.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it would be, I mean, I'm just guessing. I mean, I don't work in the real estate industry, but
Mm.
certainly image and that portraying that you are successful by what you have and what you show
Yeah.
seems to be very important. So, what are you, with people around you who are struggling, uh, who don't like learning as much as you, don't value learning as much as you? How do you encourage them? I mean, do you have any mentorship capacity in what you're doing with younger people coming up behind you?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel quite fortunate. I've got a young group of and resonating with a group of young men in their early 20s is that they tend to find me. I've got a couple of gentlemen that even last week rang me and just asked me about, I've started a new business. I want to know how to connect with people and, that sort of sales and that integration to how do I introduce myself and just talking them through about, okay, well, which day are you going to do this? Give me a call before you do it, that accountability piece. I really enjoy that around, and not just centered around real estate, just people, because what you find is that when people are constantly learning, and I do this with mentors as well, and I reach out to people often, is that when there's someone that's curious, I find curious people find curious people, and I would love to be able to mentor more people while on the journey of self-discovery myself. I think it's money can't buy experiences.
Yeah. So, talent or perseverance, is one more important? What do you think?
Well, I think is that if you have the ability to do something, talent is definitely going to get you further if you work hard. I think perseverance is something that if you keep doing it, you'll get better to where you are. But I think there is a ceiling, and I think talent does come first because that talent's going to take you further. And while there's a lot of people in this world that have unfulfilled talents, the people with perseverance will never get to the levels, in my opinion, of the ones with talent. And people with talent know, like I know what my talents are and I work to them. And if we talked about being aware of what your talents are, is that having that ability to know that's super important. Uh, I don't think perseverance is something that I'd say is a strong character trait for me. So I definitely resonate with the talents I have and work on those strengths.
Yeah, see, I'm the opposite. I'm very much perseverance. Is that, I mean,
Mm.
with speaking now, I mean, I've got a very high skill set when it comes to speaking on stage. Not so much just to
Mm.
speaking with someone one on one. I stumble over my words, but my skill set on stage is very, very good. But if you'd taken me back 20 years, that would be the last thing I would ever suggest I would be good at. And I got there solely through perseverance. So, like, I mean, there is no clear answer to this, but interesting to hear what you've got to say on that. So, Damien, I just want to keep this nice and brief and short. If people want to connect with you, where can they go?
Yeah, look, my main method of communication on social media is on LinkedIn. So you can go on
Yeah.
Damian Piotto, which is very easy to find. I do have some social media channels as well. You say a reluctant learner, but as part of my changeability, is that'll become more mainstream to me. I also have a YouTube channel, which is Damian Piotto Real Estate, which is a lot of tips and tricks for buyers, sellers, community information in Brisbane, and just general news that pops up. We've got the Olympics coming up in the next 8 years, and there's always interesting things. And I quite like connecting the community to what's happening when there's new restaurants and nice cafes and things like that. Because when you're moving into a suburb, you don't know what you don't know, and you want to do a bit of research. So I'm quite fortunate to do that for a living. So yeah, I really enjoy that.
That's terrific. Look, I've enjoyed the chat. Stay well, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, mate.